There we go.
Hello, everyone. It is the re-debut of 86th with Wally Backman, and this is going to be a cool episode. So we've got some friends. If you remember the Playing for Peanuts documentary, that Wally managed the South Georgia Peanuts in 2007 to a South Coast League championship, and we have some former players and staff from that team, kind of a little reunion here. So I'll let them introduce themselves and let them catch up, and yeah, hopefully you all enjoy. So I'm going to turn it over to Wally first to make an introduction, and then we'll go around and go from there.
Okay. Hey guys, introduce yourselves. Tell me what you're doing. We're talking about 2007 when we won a championship, and what a great time! Great coaches, great players. We did kick everybody's ass, but I want everybody to kind of introduce yourselves because it's been a long time, and believe it or not, so whoever wants to start, go ahead and start, and we'll go from there. And I'm sure I'll have. You know what? I want to say this. Do you remember the Desi Wilson part? I wish Desi was on here. When I called you guys all kinds of names and did all kinds of stuff, I think, Bubba, you remember the snake?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, you know what? You guys introduce yourselves, and we're going to ramble on for a little bit of while. I mean, this is the first time I've done something like this. I've done some podcasts in the past, and we're trying to resume it, I guess. But you guys were a huge part of my life. So, Bubba, you start.
Well, first of all, I was a bench coach for Wally, and somehow I stumbled onto the job. I was a high school coach just locally there, and I got the job, and that's probably one of the most fun summers I've ever had, working with Wally. And I actually stayed 2 more summers with Wally when he went to Joliet. So, yeah, it was a great time. And I always felt like, all of us together linked simply because of Wally Backman.
All right, who's next? Somebody speak up, man. Mike, speak up.
All right. Mike Colacchio. I was a relief pitcher. I was a rookie coming out of college. I had surgery, so I was off for about a year and a half, and stumbled my way into the Peanuts somehow. And it was unbelievable. I wasn't playing for a year, and what an unreal summer. And you guys taught me an unbelievable amount that year. I remember distinctly when we were doing tryouts because I didn't know I had to actually make the team. And I was like, oh shit, I got to try and make the team. And I was throwing, and I was like, man, I just became unbelievably wild because I didn't know like where my ball was going. I think it was either you or Buddy was like, hey, do you know your ball moves? I was like, I was like, no, I don't know where the hell my ball is going. He's like, well, your ball's moving, X and whatever. You're like, aim over here. And then I started doing that, and then then it ended up working. So I do remember that.
Mike, what are you doing now?
So I work at a startup. So I work in software sales. So I build their sales teams and do their whole work with their go-to-market strategy.
You should have been able to fix my computer then today.
I know, that's what I was saying. I was like, you got to download the app or ask for permissions and all that shit. So,
Jesus, it's good to see you guys, man. Hey, Kyle, what are you up to?
What's it? Oh, Keith.
Yeah.
So I'm. That's all right. That's all right.
Hey, Mike, what's in that cup?
Doers on the rocks.
Yes.
I'm having one with you, brother.
So my name's Keith Michlig. I was the GM of the Peanuts, but I've been in the Albany, South Georgia area since leaving the squad, and I was funny because I was thinking of. Yeah, I am. I actually shortly after, a few months after I left the Peanuts, I got a job working for a two school in America. Georgia's about 45 minutes away, but I kept my same house, and I drive up there. And it's Georgia Southwestern State University, and I'm in athletics there. And at the moment, I'm the associate athletic director and kind of handle the marketing, sports information, and all that stuff. And I've been there for 17 years, and it's always nice to know that when it's payday, that there'll actually be money in the account. And so that's kind of a pleasant change from where I was coming from. But yeah, it's
Hey,
good. And in fact, I was
Nick,
thinking of you today.
Matt Pauley, because I'm going to rip this guy bad. Nick, talk to me, brother. What are you up to, man?
Who? Me?
Paulie.
Yeah. All right. So I am currently in St. Louis. Well, I'm physically down in Jupiter, Florida right now for Cardinal spring training, but I'm one of the Cardinals broadcasters. I do pre and post, occasionally fill in on play-by-play. I do a lot of the play-by-play of the spring training game. So this is my third or fourth year with the Cardinals. I did 7 years of Milwaukee Brewers post game, and before that, I was doing AAA baseball in Colorado Springs. And Wally, that's the last time I saw you because you were the Mets AAA manager when I was in Colorado Springs.
Nick, you must have had to pay these organizations a lot of money to stay working. I love you, brother. You were good. Hey, is Prosise on here? No. How about
I talked to him. And he said that he was going to try to get on, but I hadn't seen him.
How about Tug? No.
Same thing. Tug's got rehab
You know
tonight.
what? Bubber, I think we got to have one of those meetings again. I think we need to get all these guys together and have one of those blowout meetings. And they would know that I was pissed off right now. But no, you know what? It's great to hear from all you guys. You know, I want to turn this over to Tyler because I know he's got some questions for you guys. But before we do that, Bubber, where are you going this year? You got to be fucking 80 years old.
I'm still trying to go maybe back up to New York and do the Boulders in the Frontier League.
You know, I could have taken that job, but
I wanted you to. I kept putting your name in there, telling him you'd be a great fit. The fans would love you, but no, you kept turning him down.
I want to, and I probably should have done it this year. He called me again this year, but I just, you know, I love my fucking hunting and I love my fishing. I'll send you guys pictures. I mean, in the summertime, this last summer was the first year I had off, and I tuna fishing, salmon fishing, halibut fishing, and I just. My wife and I got a big motorhome, and I just like to travel around and do shit right now. You know, it's the first year I really was able to do it, but everybody should enjoy the things that I've enjoyed over the course of, especially this last year. But you know, baseball's still in my mind, and I am not retired. Trust me, I'm not retired. But I want to turn it over to Tyler. Tyler, I know you got some questions to ask some guys, and go for it, brother.
Oh, we got to hit Butler. He's on here too.
Yeah, where's that guy at?
Oh,
He's probably,
what's up?
probably
What's up,
something.
Wally? No, so I'm the director of baseball for an organization called MASH now. I'm a high school coach here in Minnesota. I suppose I was a utility infielder for Wally in the Peanuts in 2007. Played all over the infield for him. The snake was in my car, thanks to Mike. We can get into that later. But I've had like I said, great fortune to be a high school coach now for 8 years, and I've been on 3 national team staffs for USA Baseball on the 15U national team level. So I've been a coach for that organization now for 3 years, and excited to do that. So excited to be here, Wally. I think I speak for everybody when we say thank you for all the lessons you taught us in the game, and a lot of it still stays with us to this day.
Hey, the hardest time of my life was this last summer when I had to teach a 6-year-old grandson how to play baseball, whatever it was, T-ball. I don't know what you coach pitch, whatever you call that stuff. It was like I could have killed every one of those kids, but you got to bite your tongue a little bit. But it's nice to teach guys and teach them how to learn and teach them the right things to do, and it is fun. So you go from one level to the next level, and then it just gets tough if you go backwards. But that's what I did. But I'm happy for you. You're doing something really good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all for the introductions, and nice to meet you all. Thank you all for taking time to do this. Wally and I very much appreciate it. Just a couple questions I've got, and you can all kind of chime in, make it conversational. So I'm from the outside. I saw the documentary. I've got to know a few of you all. Had a few of you all on my podcast, but what made that team so special?
I mean, yeah.
No, go ahead. You guys say what you want to say.
I mean, I would say that for an island of misfit toys in a lot of ways, we were really close. There's a lot of things that I think I just heard recently on a podcast or something. I think it was like Nick Saban or somebody was talking about, like, you don't remember what you did on this game or if you won that game or not, but you remember like the people around you. And for me, that's all 2007 was. Like, I remember some of the games and some of the instances during the games and all that, but for me, it was the people. Like, we were close. I mean, we were thrown into a situation that was kind of felt makeshift from the beginning, and I think guys could have complained, and we didn't. We kind of formed a bond, and a lot of that had to do with Wally's constant message of we were going to win, and so we knew what his expectations were from the minute we got there. And they put us in military housing and kind of forced us to get to know each other. And like Mike and I lived together with Johnny and Doc and Joey and Dustin. And then when Gamble joined us, he slept in our living room. And we just became close. Like,
TV
honestly,
from Rent-A-Center.
yeah. I mean, like, honestly, like, you could have, if one guy was getting into a fight, we were all getting into a fight, and that was just the way that it was. And that's how we competed too. So that's what made us special.
I think, guys, it's all about chemistry. We all got along. I was a dick at times. But you know what? We wanted to win. And it wasn't just me that wanted to win. It was the players that wanted to win, Tyler. And these guys were competitors. They wanted to win. I just tried to lead them in the right direction, and they were the ones that won. It wasn't about me. It was 100% about the players. So, with that being said, they can say, the coaches were great. Bubba, Jesus, can you still throw strikes? I don't know, but I mean, but Buddy, some of the stuff that Buddy did, and it's too bad we don't have Doc and some of those guys, Jasa, on this podcast right now, because there was it takes 25 guys to win a championship, and every one of those players had a commitment and did what they had to do to make us a better team. And I'm not going to leave one guy out. I don't have every name. Shit, I turned 65 years old, so I don't have everybody's name. I mean, I do have the roster somewhere, but what a great bunch of guys. And you guys roll with what you want to do.
I think the other thing that was great on the team was I think the bonding was one of them, because I mean, as you guys know, I played I'd say like a season and a half, where you take people from all over, and how quickly can you get that connection. But also, like, Wally and everyone, and Buddy, who I interacted with a lot on the pitching side, was like, what was really good is they made everyone become comfortable with being uncomfortable, and also like all the stuff that you were doing, having our backs, the amazing ejections and stuff that you had that are freaking
Wally got it.
unbelievable. But when you see that, and also like the message that you brought out to everyone is to like, you always wanted the best, and like what Steve said is like, you made all of us believe that we're going to be winning. And even when you were not our manager for a short period of time, and then you were rehired as our manager with like, it was just like it was a crazy time. And I guess when you go through some of that stuff, it creates those bonds. And from outside looking in now in my professional career, is like, it's the same thing on the business side. Is like, you need to have everyone singing from the same songbook, and you were incredible at that. And pushing people to make them get uncomfortable.
It was odd for me going through my minor league baseball career after being done there, because Wally, you trusted me, you brought me in. I was kind of, part of it, but on the outside at the same time. But we would talk, you would listen to me. I remember one time I threw an idea out at you, and you liked it, and you went with it. And like the respect that you showed me and just brought me in as this broadcaster, it's really nothing that I've ever experienced anywhere else in my career. I've worked for a bunch of teams and a bunch of different levels, and then just the relationship that I had with the players as well. Me being about the same age of them at the same time, it was a really special summer. There was a lot of drama that went along with it. Keith can speak to that from a front office side. I was kind of halfway on the baseball side and halfway on the front office side with my job, but the baseball side of it was a whole lot more fun.
Matt, I want you real quick to tell the story you told me when I had you on my podcast a couple of years ago about how you had to park your car down the left field line when the team went on the road. You remember that story?
Yeah, I do. So Wally and I'd had a couple drinks the night before, as shocking as that might be. And I
Good old
overslept,
crowbar.
and I think
Double
Wally may
pops.
have overslept as well. So the bus left. Didn't he have Wally or me on it? So I was talking to, like, I think Larry on my cell phone. He said the bus would come back to the ballpark, and what we would do is we would park our cars at a church, because the ballpark was in such a bad area. Cars would get broken into. So I didn't want to just leave my car out in the parking lot. I had keys to all the ballpark stuff. So I remember opening up the big gate out in left field and pulling my car literally into the ballpark, onto the concourse area, and leaving it there so it wouldn't get broken into while the team was on the road.
Some good times,
That's
brother.
great. That's great.
No doubt. That was towards our only trip to Bradenton. We went there for one game in a rain, and we
Hey,
never
and
went
we
back.
were all making a lot of money back then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, tons, yeah.
Keith,
Bud Lights kept us at the end of the night, those $1 drinks. What was the name of that bar, Butts?
Crowbar. The
Oh
crowbar.
man, we freaking
Yep.
had a loyalty card there.
That was a good bar.
is that where I can't remember who it was. Mike, it might have been you who in the documentary, you didn't have a plunger, so you had a 24-pack of Bud Light or Miller Light or whatever shit it was to use like the box as your plunger.
We were never without a 24-pack.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's great to see you guys and talk to you guys again. And in the end, get my email from Tyler. So let's stay in touch, man. Life's a bitch, and you get old, and I'm getting there, and so are you guys. You're next in line. But what a great team. I mean, Mike, you were 3-0 that year. Are you there, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were 3-0 that year with a 3 ERA or something like that, and it was good. I mean, I was hoping Tug would be on here. Balcom hit 304 with 34 stolen bases for us that year, but Doc Brooks. The best story that I have about that team was I'm driving back to Albany, and Doc Brooks, who played for me with the Diamondbacks, he calls me, and I'm like halfway there, and Doc says, "Wally, you got a job for me?" I says, "Doc," I says, "the season's gonna start here in a couple of weeks, and I'll make a spot." I don't know who I got rid of to bring Doc in there, but he was probably he had, I don't know how many home runs he hit for us, but he was a good player, and everybody knows that the blowout I had in wherever that was in
Anderson, South Carolina.
That's
South
I get that,
Carolina.
Wally. That's the best.
No, Mike, I've had so many blowouts over the course.
No, I know, but how many blowouts do you have with a microphone
It's
on
like
the whole time? It's incredible.
when I went back to the bench for, I don't know, 8, 10 years, whatever it was, and they would say they would bet on how many times I was going to get thrown out of, and I'd get thrown out of 4 or 5 games, 6 or 8 games, whatever it might have been. I don't even care. But it was like, God, why is this all happening to me now? And it was funny because I will protect my player
Yeah.
no matter what.
No doubt. No
Could
doubt.
be right, wrong, indifferent. And they used to always ask me, "Why do you do this, Wally?" And I says, "I got to protect the player." They says, "Well, it's what it is. It's just it's life. It's like protecting your own son.
Yeah.
And no matter what he does, right, wrong, or indifferent, you're gonna protect him, and you're gonna tell him in the end, you fucked up, kid.
Yeah.
But I have to protect you." So, but anyway, man, no, seriously, guys, I wish we could have had more guys on here today. You guys were great. It's all good. You're all doing good. And that's what I appreciate. You figured it out, and life's a bitch sometime, and your old manager is still probably going to be managing again at 65 years old.
It's
That's
what you belong.
awesome.
It's what you're born to do. Yeah.
Hey, I might need some coaches, but I can't pay you that much.
Real quick, if everybody has another minute or two, I do want to hear. I've got two more things, if that's all right. Keith, I want to hear from you, just from the front office side, kind of your experience, and obviously you were there and running things. What was kind of your take on everything?
Just well, it's funny because I'll get I mean, I don't get that nearly as much, but there was for several years folks would still see me around town and recognize me as the guy that was on the microphone or doing whatever out there at the ballpark. But the thing that I would often get is, obviously my position as a GM is way different than what a typical, major league general manager, or even for the most part, another minor league manager is going to do. I mean, I always preface everything I said when I would talk about being the GM is that I have nothing to do with the roster or any of the baseball operation side of things. I think they're in very good hands with Skip. I don't have to worry about any of that. So I said, don't ask me about any of those questions because I don't have anything to do with that. So that's kind of one that I would crossed over the year, but it was fun. I mean, I just remember, obviously there was a scramble to get the ballpark ready. There were changes. They were trying to do things at the ballpark, on the day-to-day side. Again, I really didn't, there wasn't a lot of crossover for me into, the operation, whatever the baseball team was doing. So, I probably wish I had a little bit more of the in there with you guys to see all the fun that you were having and all the interactions that you guys were having there on that side of things. But it was fun to watch from afar, and the successes that y'all were having, and the stories that I could hear and pick up on were really fun to follow. And, I mean, I've always told people, and, like I said, I've been here since the team left or the league shut down. And, I always thought that this market could make it. And, I was only there for the 1 year, and, But I could tell from, because again, a little bit of the background, just the fact that there had been minor league baseball here, they kind of got burned. The city got burned. There was a lot of apprehensive businesses on wanting to commit money to getting behind the franchise, and I thought from after year one, especially with the success on the field that they had, that there was starting to kind of regain the trust of the community. And I think this was one of their markets that actually was going to make it, and it just didn't happen, that just because of the whole totality of how things were run for the entire league. But so I just like I said, it was good times. I enjoyed it. In fact, it's hard to believe, man. There was a guy that was an older gentleman, and I can't remember his name, but he was from the Americus area, and now he comes to GSW, Georgia Southwestern baseball games, and he still recognizes me as the propaganda minister, as he calls me. And he just remembers his days on the Peanuts, and he got one day he got to sit up on that boat when we had the boat out in right field, and he remembers the days of the Peanuts, and he misses those days. But he likes to reminisce on, just because he was one of the regulars that was at all the Peanut games, which is crazy to think, but he was one of the diehard fans that we had. So, like I said, from a front office standpoint, I had a lot of fun and just kind of watching from afar, basically, and it really enjoyed it. And of course, to see it all come to a championship was pretty cool. So to be on the field at the end and handed the mic over to Wally to talk on the mic at the end of the game was pretty cool, and really, really good experience, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
I don't
know if I really answered your question.
Yeah.
They made it really tough. You got to be so politically correct today, and you've done a great job. There's no doubt, but politically correct does not win a championship. Players like you win a championship because of what's I want to see with all the stuff. You cannot grade a person's heart, and you guys had heart.
And one person that just joined the call that, if you don't mind, I would like to make the introduction to, and there's a reason for that. So he was actually born in the city that I just moved to last week, about 4 days ago, Alexandria, Virginia, played at George Mason University under the legend.
Town.
What?
Alexandria is a bad town.
Well, now you're telling me after the fact.
I had cockroaches so big in my room when we played Alexander. That's when I played against Mickey Mantle Jr. It was a co-op team, Seattle and somebody else. And oh my God, cockroaches big enough to carry you away.
Well, thanks for telling me after you knew I was moving here. But this guy played under legend Bill Brown, the head coach who just retired last year from George Mason. Nick Prosise, the catcher. Nick, thanks for joining us.
What's going on, everybody?
Wow.
Hey, Nick.
What's up, Nick?
I'm trying to figure out how to get the camera rolling.
You're like Wally with technology.
Wally's about to tell you to go screw off. I can call it
late for
already.
the game. Nick was late for the game. Colacchio was our number one starter, I think, game one. Am I right, Mike?
No, someone got hurt. I went in on the back half, and I got the first W.
I think
Okay,
Austin
well,
got hurt, right?
Yeah, Austin
Nick
got
talk.
hurt.
Let
Yeah.
Nick talk. Just shut up for a minute. Let Nick talk.
Man. So
There he is.
about this time every year, I think I see a picture of Wally throwing a bucket of baseballs on the field. I'm sure you guys have already talked about that.
Yeah.
I currently live about 30 minutes away from that field.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Greenville,
That's
South
awesome.
Carolina. So yeah, man, that was such a great summer. I always have such good memories of that place, even though I lived on a mattress in some Hurricane Katrina housing. But that's nevertheless, that was just an awesome experience.
Hey, Nick, how old are you now?
40.
Jesus, you got a lot of gray hair at 40.
I've got 4 kids.
That'll do it.
Why? But I'm
I don't-
65.
I don't know.
What's up,
How you
Mickey?
doing, buddy?
Stevie, what's going on?
How you doing, man?
You know,
It's good to see you.
living the dream. Good to see everybody.
Hey, Nick, this is Bubba.
Bubber.
You whatever you got today, you owe to me, because like 6 months after the baseball season, maybe the next year, I get a call that somebody from the FBI or the Secret Service wants to talk to me. So
That's
this
right.
guy shows up at my office, and I'm going, "What in the heck have I done?" You know? And he goes, "I want to talk to you about Nick Prosise." He said, "What do you think about him?" And I said, "Well, I tell you what, of all those guys, and no offense to all those guys on the team, I said, he's the only one I would let knock on my daughter's door." And he
I
said,
hear you.
"That's all I need to hear." And he walked out the door.
All
I
right.
bet you got the job too, didn't you?
Yeah. So I totally forgot about that. That's that. I had to get a security clearance because I work for the State Department, and they had to go all over the country to interview people, make sure I wasn't going to sell any government secrets. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that was I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Do you still work for the State Department?
I do not. I moved to Greenville about 13 years ago, and I stopped working for the government. Funny you say that. My wife just she had to take that deferred resignation program, so she's gonna be we got to be looking for a job for her.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Nice. Well, it's good. It's good to see.
Hey,
you, man.
but
We got-
Wally, Alexandria's not a bad
Yeah.
city, though. It's not a bad city.
Nick, did you grow up? Did you grow up in Alexandria? Or,
I grew up in Arlington. I went to
Oh,
high
okay.
school. I went to high school in DC. Yeah, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I grew up in Arlington.
I may be
My-
reaching out to you to ask you where all the good bars are around here.
Hey, that place is totally different from when I lived there. But I'll give you some down in old what is it?
King
Old
Street.
Town. Old Town Alexandria is a good
Yeah.
little spot.
Yep.
Good spot.
Yep. Definitely.
Well,
Well,
be careful; those cockroaches will carry you away. And
Hey, who got the snake? Was it you, Bubba? Was that
Yeah,
for you?
yeah, that-
Was the snake for yeah.
His Nikes.
Yeah, that
you
was
put
me.
him-
They got me.
put
You
him in
remember
his-
that, Mike? You remember
Yeah.
going to get in that thing?
We
Good
lost
God.
it.
And then it got loose in my car.
yeah.
I still have that car. It's in my garage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't drive it, but I still have it. God, that thing I don't know how he was in between the seats. You pulled it out of the seats. Freaking nasty.
Yeah, y'all
Gross.
got all the way in the locker room and opened up the box. That's before I came in. Y'all opened up the box and there was no snake. So you had to go back and try to find it. And I must have thrown 500 pitches to Nick and Tug in the batting cage because they were keeping me out of the clubhouse. And I didn't know what was going on. You know, they were setting me up.
I just remember watching the documentary and the part where Wally goes, "We got to get a snake or a frog or something to put in that box." Scare the shit out of him, and then he goes, "He'll have a damn
Sent us
stroke."
out to the mall.
hey,
Is that mall
I'll
still
tell you
there?
guys a question. I'll give you an answer.
Barely.
Right? Every one of you. If the Mets go to the World Series this year, I will buy you a ticket. Every one of you. I ain't gonna pay for your freaking hotel, but I'll buy you a fucking World Series ticket, and we can all go. It's been 40 some years, and this guy has spent so much money to make this team great. I don't know if it can do it or not, but I'll tell you what. Every one of you on here, I will bring you. Maybe we'll just house up in a suite or something like that and sleep on the floor and have cocktails. But
What about your RV?
serious.
Can we get your RV?
Can't bring an RV if in New York City if the Mets are in there.
Oh, it's a great city.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I'm rooting for the Mets.
Yep.
Yeah, same.
My son. I'm coaching my son's little league team, and we're the Mets. So maybe it's an omen this year.
Well, you got a son? Bring him.
Yeah. Well, he's a little too young, but yeah.
I've got 2. Can I bring both of them?
Shit, you guys are
I've got one.
some money. We'll do it.
Let's do
Bubba,
it.
your kids are too old. Don't worry about it.
Well, guys,
Wally, I think I was just gonna say, Wally, I think about you every time I drive by the Albany RV park. Do you have any great memories out there? Did Matt ever get to visit you out at the
I have
RV
a
park?
great memory. I had a fifth wheel, a big one. It's like 38 feet. And I had a rough time the night before. And the bus came and picked me up. So I had to take a shower, do all that stuff, pack my bag, buy the player stuff. So I had to pack my bag, get ready, and on the road we went. So it was a good time.
That was
Good memories.
Yep.
classic. That was
Yep.
classic.
one last question here, if I can ask. And I've got tears in my eyes because I've been laughing so hard. But obviously there was the whole blow up at Anderson. But is there one story that wasn't in the documentary that just it would stand out unilaterally for everyone as like the funniest freaking story from that season?
I'll start, and then the players can talk. The young kid was a little fucking prick. Players are available.
I just, I mean, there's a couple. I mean, that like we went to, I think we opened up in Port Charlotte, and I can't remember where we went after that, but we went 6-0, and I remember we came home and we lost game one, and I remember we walked in and Wally flipped the spread table over. It was like, man, it was our first loss of the season, but you know, that sticks out. I remember coming out of the shower one time and a bottle rocket whizzed past me, and I looked to the right, you know, because the shower was on the far side of the locker room, and Wally's office is when you first walked in, and freaking bottle rocket goes flying by. But I mean, there's so many stories for me that I mean, it's fun to go back and take a look at watch the videos that always pop up and the ejections and this speech in the locker room that's kind of taken on its own life. But I mean, it seemed like there were things, I don't know, every day that, you know, I mean, it's no lie. Like we were at the field together, we were out together, like we were always together. So there was stuff going on constantly. So I mean, it was a daily event.
The overnights from Port Charlotte to Anderson, 14 hours
Come
or
on.
12 hours in that. It wasn't, and we had all of us, and then we would go stop at the liquor store, run in with like one bathroom with 30
brutal.
dudes, dip spit everywhere, booze.
How about the night
Mike,
before the
I had to
ejection?
be complete because I would never let you guys stop at a liquor store.
Yeah, you weren't
Hey,
there. You weren't there at that one. You drove
I
your
was okay. All right.
yeah.
This is true story. This is when I knew that everything that Wally told us was true. So when I in 08, I went to Fort Worth for half a year and then went back to the St. Paul Saints, and I was with the Saints in 09. And in either end of 08 or 09, the pitching coach was a guy named Mitch Wiley, and Mitch played for Wally when he was with the White Sox. And Wally used to tell us a story about how he stopped the entire team and made him get out and go to a bar and whatever the circumstances were around the story. First day I met Mitch, he's like, "You just played for Wally?" And I was like, "I did." He goes, "Man, I got to tell you a story." And he repeated the story that Wally would tell us. And I was like, "Well, that all makes sense now." So, you know, it was funny. The funny thing, I think Nick and Mike, you'll remember this though, the night before the blowout with all the bats and the balls and the radio guy, that was when we got on the bus and we were all wet and the bus driver wanted to stop and
Steve, I was just about to say that. I was literally about to talk about that. Like he would never turn on the AC the whole
Remember
it was
that?
South Georgia summer. He would never turn the AC on. We were soaking wet getting on the bus.
Soaking.
And he's blasting the AC. And we were freezing. And it was that was literally the story I was going to tell. It was
Well, they
And then we
stopped at
showed
like
up
the
for a date.
grocery store or
Yeah.
something and went in and do his shopping, and we're all
Yeah.
sitting on the bus.
yeah.
You remember? And somebody was like, "Why are you stopping?" He's like, "I'll stop when I want to stop." And he went out and got his prescription or whatever.
I mean, not to mention he was probably sitting in the parking lot for the game, for half a game, and he could have gone at that point.
Hey Nick,
I mean,
it's getting hot.
Yeah.
hilarious.
I
God, that's
remember,
funny.
there was a night where Wally, you were I in the dugout after the game was over, all the lights were off. You looked at me like, I don't have any pitching for tomorrow. And we didn't have enough people to put the full tarp on the field, and rain was going to come, but the mound was covered and the plate area was covered. And you look at me and you go, man, it sure would be a shame if the wind caught that. And I remember running out and pulling the tarp off of the mound and off of the plate. And Emil, my broadcast partner who did clubby stuff, he's walking down for the press box and he sees what I'm doing and he just starts shaking his head. Rain starts coming down. We didn't play the next day and pitching was back in order.
That's a bull.
It was rough there. It
You
was rough.
remember the time? You remember the time the tarp? We couldn't get the tarp on in time. They got it about
Oh, yeah.
halfway across, and it was flooding. Wally was pissed.
It was bad, brother.
That was the night. Wasn't that the night before the whole blow up? And then he went upstairs to confront Janela, and then the GM was being a smart ass on his way out. And Wally goes, "Yeah, you could go F yourself too." He goes, I'll tell you what's unprofessional is not getting the bleep and tarp on the field time. That's unprofessional. Was that same story?
Tyler, I can go beyond that. In 2010, after the best team that I might have had was in 07, but in 2010, we went to the playoffs, went to the championship, and I had a rookie ball team with the Mets, and the fucking Houston Astros brought 3 AA starters in. Now, anybody that's played professional baseball, they're good. They're way better than what we have. And they brought these guys in, and they kicked our ass. But I had to take players out. We had to fix the field. We had to light it up with fire. We had helicopters there. And they did. They beat us, but it was like, really? It wasn't even fair. But it's just, baseball's a game of inches or whatever they want to say, but some of these people in baseball are seriously fucked up.
Every umpire that threw you out that year.
But
Those guys.
did this get mentioned where like that, that game, it was kids day. It was like field trip for kids during the day. Like it was like all kids in the stadium listening to Wally.
The Anderson one?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. It's kids day.
It was kids day.
It was also like 105.
Bro.
Yeah.
And no
Wow.
locker rooms. And no locker rooms.
Yeah.
Remember, he's like they threw all the bats and the balls, and he leans back over. He's like, nobody picked that shit up, and we just sat we were just sitting there like, what are we supposed to do here?
Oh, you were great.
What are we supposed to do?
This is why you're great.
Oh,
Who ended up picking it up?
Yeah, we
I
did.
would like to know. I did.
the ball,
The Bat Boys.
their ball boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bat boys. We never touched it. No, not a single player touched any of the bats or balls.
Wow.
Tyler, let me tell you something. There was no fucking player picking that shit up. The Bat Boys could pick it up. They could do whatever they wanted to do. But there was no way my players were picking that shit up.
Oh,
It's true.
wow.
We didn't either.
Nick,
Who did not?
were you catching when we had the game in Macon where Wally, I think you got ejected? And
Yes.
then
Home run.
we were getting slapped and the dude swung 3-0. And then I went out. I remember I went in to go pitch, and were you catching? Nick?
Yes.
Or was that tough?
Yes, I was catching.
Oh,
And
that's
you
you
gave me-
missed
you
him,
gave
Mike,
me-
right?
I remember
You missed
Wally.
him.
Wally goes,
You missed him.
I threw behind him 3 times.
That's right.
Wally goes, if he's going into the tunnel, and he's like, if you don't hit this motherfucker, you're walking home.
Scott Robin.
And I missed
I
him.
really didn't say that, did I?
No, I'm ad-libbing there, but
No. I might have, because you know what? Protect guys.
but I threw behind him once, and I was like, shit. Do I
Can't
do it
miss
again?
time.
freaking threw behind
It
him a
was-
second time, and he walked halfway
It
out.
was,
I was
he
like,
walked halfway out with the bat in his hand.
no, and then he got back in, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, well, third time's a charm, and I fucking missed him again. So go figure.
Well, you got to get them.
Yeah,
Sometimes, Nick. Sometimes those pitchers won't get them. Mike, where is Mike? Is he still on there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Oh no. Okay. Sometimes you just got to drill somebody.
I was trying.
Life's a bitch.
Yeah.
You couldn't throw anything straight.
Oh, they throw that puck down the middle. When you throw that ball down the middle and you hit a home run. Hey, life sucks, dude. You made a bad pitch.
Yeah. Actually, there's one where I'm recorded or I'm mic'd up, and you're like, he's got to throw us inside, and I fucking missed outside. And who was that big dude? Kelly something?
Wasn't it Casey or something? Casey.
Yeah, something. Kelly.
Yeah, that one's mic'd up where you're like, he's got to
Oh,
throw us inside.
the other guy. Yeah.
The other guy.
Yeah.
The big dude.
Yeah,
Kelly
I'm like
Hunt.
hanging, he freaking.
Kelly Hunt. That's what it was. Kelly Hunt.
Yeah.
He was from like Aiken, right? He played for Aiken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because who
And
was the
then-
guy from Macon that killed us? Robinson, right? Scott Robinson, that was his name?
Yeah.
Scott
The
Robinson. Yeah, that was
left-handed
the
hitter. Yeah.
first baseman.
Yeah. The guy that hit the home run that they called fair, that was really foul.
Yeah, I mean,
Way
yeah.
foul.
Way foul. That's a good recording.
Guys, we got to
That's a-
organize this better. It's going to be on whatever YouTube, but I think we got to get all of us on this thing, just to redo everything that we've done. Shit, you guys are old now. You're not as old as me, but I think it's been great. I mean, we got to get Hoof on here. We got to get some of these guys in. Brooks on here.
John
And we're not-
Zerang, remember him? He could hit.
You know what? This is good things about reminiscing about Matt Pauley. You still look like shit.
Yep.
You know, Bubba. I call you Bubba, but I don't like that fucking hat. What is that hat? What is that?
It's my high school hat. Everybody thinks it's Clemson, but it's not.
That does look
We're the
like Clemson
Wildcats.
hat.
Yeah, we're
How'd
the
you guys play
Wildcats.
this
So
year?
we copied the Clemson, Paul. That's all.
You did
Yeah.
what?
We copied Clemson's logo because we're the
So you
Wildcats.
lost.
Yeah.
You lost. You didn't have the great Waldo there to give you that support, but
Exactly.
Tyler, finish this off because I'm tired of looking at these guys that I've seen for 6 or 7 months. So, but we're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again, guys. Bubber, we gotta
Yeah.
get Buddy. We gotta get Numbnuts Larry involved in this. We gotta get a lot of these guys involved in this. Doc, whatever.
I tell you what we need to do. Seriously,
A couple of bucks. I don't know, but I doubt it.
seriously, what we need to do is everybody on here, everybody's got their own contacts. Like, some of you guys knew other people that, maybe I don't have their numbers and I've got old numbers that are no good. All of us right here, we need to get together and just pool all our contacts and let's get everybody together.
We I agree 100%. Every one of these guys are awesome. And if we can get everybody together, it'd be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, but it'd be nice to be able to do that. So, Tyler, what do you think?
It's been awesome. Thank you all so much. Thanks for letting me host. I know I wasn't with you all, but I followed the documentary, got to know Bubba and Wally over the years, and glad we could all do this. Let's do it again. And thank you all. This has been 86th with Wally Backman, the re-debut episode. More episodes to come. Signing off with the 2007 South Georgia Championship Peanuts.